start the show tonight, I'll let you know a little about myself. I grew up with a mother who teaches piano and played every Sunday in church up until very recently. And my father ran the soundboard, which gave me access to learning how engineering works and at least plugging in microphones and tying up the cables and everything at the end of the day. I started playing piano at a very young age, started playing guitar in the church, and then I started playing in the band. I started playing saxophone very young, the 5th grade, and I continued going. As soon as I could get out of a very small town in Southern California, I went as far as I could to Boston and ended up at Berklee School of Music, where I got a bachelor degree. I then traveled around the country. While I was there, I got to travel around the world a little bit and see a bunch of Europe. And then came back to LA, where I was able to run into a couple of very good friends and start a band called Los Lobos Locos. That band got to tour around the United States for about 3 years, which is where we met most of the people who will be on this show. I finally came back to where I grew up and started Epic XVIII, which is where I'm at now, and one of the big reasons we're doing this show. Whenever we get the chance, all we're doing is working on being better musicians, finding other music out there, and teaching music to whoever we can. Thank you again for being part of this. I'll now hand you over to Tom.
Thank you, Adam. Tonight on Yeah Whatever, music by Epic XVIII and featuring Marquez and Debra Roberge.
I just wanna be your man. Come on and take me by the hand. Life will be a breeze. You can set your mind at ease. Been so long since we first stepped down this road, and looking back, it's hard to really know where and when the distractions piled up. Who's to blame for why this is so tough? I know we had for to worry about, and it's easy for our hands to be without. But stop and think that we made it to this day, and when I wake up, I still wanna say, hey girl, I just wanna be your man. Come on and take me by the hand. Life will be a breeze. You can set your mind at ease. The start of the day, I may seem kind of old, but that's the price I pay. God, hours to sit while I wish you were here. With this constant strumming, it's hard to stay clear. Friday has come and I leave you alone. Another town, another bar, and you're still at home. That's the time I'll never get through. When I'm gone and late, I miss you, girl. I just wanna be your man. Come on and take me by the hand. Life will be a breeze. You can set your mind at ease.
With us this evening, we have Eli Moreno-Drew and Logan Alvarado, who I am very happy to bring to you guys because they have to deal with me all the time. And so my first question to you is, how you guys doing this evening?
You know, we're here.
Yeah, we're doing good.
Doing great. We're doing great.
And what I'm looking for now is, what do you guys do while I'm not taking up all your time, while Epic XVIII is not keeping you busy?
You want to go first? You want to tackle this one?
No. Dang it, I did it already. I said no.
No. That's it.
Yes, and.
I got you, man. I got you. So, what am I doing when I'm not with you? I am doing exactly what we are doing right frickin' here. Sitting in front of a computer, looking at a camera, talking to Zoom, talking to people, because student teaching. So this is my life.
But I think
5 out of the 7 days.
I think that's a lot of the world right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just found what I'm usually doing. Here he is.
Dealing
with them. Oh, hey, stop.
And Caledon is liquor.
It's pretty full time at the moment still, huh?
There he goes, yep.
All right. So Oh, you guys, we'll start the next question in a second. But you guys are aware we just listened to Hey Girl as part of the show. That's our plan. You guys read that little thing?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, for sure.
Um,
So you want to talk about that?
Our least successful of the EP.
should we
Surprisingly,
start with
yes.
one then? Do you think we should start with another one? That's fine.
No, that's fine. It's just that was funny that one's the lowest on the list right now from what Tom
First
posted
one
today.
to play, it's in the last one to have the hits.
Oh, do you think we should start with Musician's Prayer since it's the first on the list? Would that make
No,
more?
I think it makes sense to start with Hey Girl. It's the
Hey Girl
title
has,
track.
yeah, it's the title track. It's got the most backstory, if you will. So
Sure, the other ones are
so
kind of just whatever. We wrote songs.
yeah. So why don't you tell us? You know what? I want to know. This is what I want to know. I was thinking about this. I was pre-thinking about this. Yeah. I
Yeah.
want to know what inspired the beginning horn intro, the ba 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 da 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 da.
Oh God, give me a
It
second.
has an answer.
Huh?
That does
You
have an answer. I don't remember
you
what the name of
wrote
the
it,
song
right?
was, but like it was, there was an inspiration.
Oh, that's why I went blank because it's like it's straight up, it's a movie or a song. Let me.
It, it it's some sort of something. I remember we were
It's
talking about it when we
it
wrote it.
wasn't like Lone Ranger or something like that. That's what it sounds like.
It
It
is.
does sound like that, but it's not what it was. It was
Yeah,
something
yeah.
else.
It
Like
was. It was like a call to arms, but I don't remember. How man? What was it?
My
It
gut is
oh
telling me it's
man.
something to do with the specials, but I don't know.
no, it wasn't specials. It might have been.
Maybe Fishbone.
Yeah, no, not. Admitted. I think it was Toots,
Okay, that could be it.
but or Scatolites or something. It was more.
Yeah. Oh, Scatolites.
That
That
makes
sounds.
So let's just keep going. Fuck it. So Eli, what's it like to have to go from a life where you didn't really do much performing and didn't have to deal with being a musician, and now a bunch of people who have spent their lives performing and are musicians are expecting a lot of you on stage?
It is like it's like being picked up by the Avengers and you're just like constantly trying to figure out like, all right, when are they gonna figure out or not? I don't have a superpower. It's it's like I'm what's his face? Um
Okay.
Hawkeye. Exactly. Exactly. Where it's like I don't technically have a superpower. I have one set of skill
Oh,
that
you mean
comes in
Batman?
handy.
Got a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that his skill?
It
Will
that
he
is that is not me. So I know
Green Arrow then.
I was thinking of oh, Green Arrow has a lot of money.
Hero.
He is just Batman, but with arrows.
Yes, that's true. No, I was thinking of who's the guy that flies and he has the Uzis. Um,
Falcon,
Falcon. Falcon. That's
Avengers
you know he
doesn't really have a power
doesn't really have a power.
suit.
War Machine.
And
Like
they got good suits.
That's true.
yeah,
Well, it happens to know someone who's cool.
that's
Good.
true. Yeah. So, but I am forever humble and grateful for the experience that has been afforded to me in learning from you guys and ultimately taking something that I knew nothing about, which was the keyboard and being what I am now and being able to mess around on the keyboard openly, being able to kind of like listen to songs, and if I can get a if I know the chord progression, then I can I can figure it out for the most part. So that's all from you guys. So it's one thing I can really thank you for.
Awesome, man. All right. And Logan, man, what's different about your life being in this band? How much hours do you waste not playing video games or board games or whatever else you would be doing, or call it in time? You know, how
Poodle
much
time.
effort do you actually have to put into this? Because Eli came from a position of not really being a musician. You're a music teacher. You know what you're doing. So how much effort is it for you?
How much effort is it, or how much time is it? Those are two different questions.
Well,
I could
they're
do both of them.
the same in my
First
head.
one and then the other.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I feel like effort and time aren't always the same thing because it takes a lot of effort to do things that are new, right? So like if I'm trying to learn new things that I don't have like range on trumpet. That takes a lot of effort and a lot of time. And then some things like I like putting songs together. So it's not exactly high effort, but it is a lot of time, like figuring out harmonies and chords and stuff. Like it definitely goes in and out. So like, you know, a lot of effort, a lot of time, not always together.
No, I feel you. And the first show we ever played together, this you and I were barely even friends at the time. It was Hope Cafe. You remember that?
Mhm.
What can you describe the place? Describe your feeling at the time. What you thought about the band? What you thought about the Imperial Valley? You know.
Um, don't think I had a lot of thoughts about it at the time. It was like, all right, they're letting us play here. That's cool. Adam knows all these people that are in the crowd. His family's here, and a couple of his students.
It's almost complete.
And
Yeah.
it's also where most of us met Sal. Sal was there.
That's true. Yeah. No, that was it's so what Logan failed to say is that Hope Cafe is a creperie. It's like a little house.
But I didn't know that at the time. I found that out afterwards.
Oh yeah, they had crepes inside, man.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that they were still going pre-pandemic and all. Uh, but it was just a house that somebody converted into a little hangout, and they
An
didn't,
IHOC.
huh?
An IHOC.
Yeah, kind of.
International House of Crepes.
Except for it was more they were trying to give kids, I think, a place to hang out in Calexico, and so it was seriously a bit, baseball throw from the friggin' border. It was on like Third Street, right, real close.
You could definitely see
Does
it.
it still exist?
I think so.
It did. It did. And anyhow, they had like their bazaars, and they'd let artists set up and people sell stuff. And my Theo Max, who's Sal's dad,
Bazaars.
he friggin' found us that gig, and it was just one of the crazier places I've ever played. But it was my family and a bunch of cool people, and we had a good time. But yeah, no, it was a weird little house turned into a creperie that had a little fair in the background. But all right.
One of the only shows you play tenor sax on.
Oh yeah, that's right. I was a tenor sax player at the beginning of that. I don't remember that. And I had a beard then too.
It's true.
Good stuff. All right. So the band always has pets around. I know why I have pets. I know how important my dogs are to me. But why are pets such a big part of this band? Why are they such a big part of your guys' life?
Because we're lonely people.
Why do I believe you?
What's up?
I said, why do I believe you?
Because it's true. Yeah. Because we are all empathetic people, and we are empathetic to God's creatures.
All right.
I could say that. I don't know. I love my animals. I love your guys' animals. Your guys' animals are my animals. You guys just don't know it. I adopt them in my heart. So,
I'll let you take Gozer for a walk next time.
don't threaten me with a good time. Don't threaten me with a challenge either. Because I know it would be a challenge. What kind of a collar do you have for him? Because I imagine he's a,
He's not too bad. If he gets a smell, he pulls on.
yeah, I can imagine.
You across the street.
No cats either.
Yeah, but because I just keep a normal collar on. I've never done choke collar or anything.
Yeah.
And harness is the worst. Apparently, we read early on with those dogs. If you give them a harness, they just fight it because they want cool. They're working dogs,
Yeah.
Yeah, well, let's pull you over.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
talking English Mastiff, by the way.
Yeah.
If you give them a harness, they'll just fight you on it. So we gave the collar, and if he knows you want him to stop, he'll stop. The problem is if he smells something and he doesn't know.
Yeah, for sure. I just had for my dog that's like Caledon, I would take her out on walks and just use her normal leash or her normal collar and all that stuff, and she would choke herself to like death. It was like she's like,
I've met some military trainers who choke their dogs, like they hold them up and choke them to train them, and they'll have dogs like passing out on them because they just don't care.
Gow.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so I have to get her a harness, but Thunder, our boxer, he can't do it because same thing. He will just freaking go crazy. So we have to have a neck thing.
So Logan, would you say it's an empathy thing? You need to feel more, or?
Yes.
That dog.
Without dogs, I have no emotion.
No.
I am a robot.
With dogs, either.
Fill in that void. I see.
The dogs are the emotion for you. Is that-
Hmm. Yeah. I steal their emotion and take it upon myself.
Ah.
Fine
Facts.
balance.
They're very expressive dogs.
So Eli, we know that you're always into writing and you're an English major and you're always talking about different books and such you're reading.
Yes.
And you mentioned 3 of your favorite writers. We asked you who you'd like to sit down at a table with, and 2 of the 3 writers were beat writers, and the other ones around the same era just started what is known as the Gonzo movement. I had to learn, and so why would you sit at a table with 3 basically beat writers, although one of them's not technically? And you can explain who they are and why you would sit down with them, and what would the topic of discussion be?
I said Kerouac, uh, William Burroughs, Bill Burroughs, and Hunter S. Thompson. And it's weird because like Hunter S. Thompson and Kerouac, I don't think they really had much of a connection. But Bill Burroughs and Jack Kerouac, they went to college together, or like kind of. They were like in the same area, kind of going to school together, just doing a buttload of drugs, essentially. And then and then Jack died like super young, and then Bill Burroughs and Hunter S. Thompson met up, and they were like super. It was really because they were like these American, like great American writers, like somewhat liberal if you really look at them and all that stuff, and they were huge gun nuts. They loved guns. they like absolutely loved their guns, and so I thought that was an interesting thing. That's not what I would talk to them about, but I would talk to them about writing, and I would talk to them about what's going on right now. I would really like, of all people, especially Hunter S. Thompson, I would really like to know what he would think about, today's times, what's going on with today. I think Bill Burroughs, I want to know why he's so patient. I know that's such a weird thing, but I want to know why he's so patient. And then Jack is, I don't know, Jack Kerouac's, he's just the master of like thought. And I listened to interviews with Jack Kerouac, and he's just like this super cerebral but very down to earth kind of person. So I feel like if I got all 3 of those guys with a bottle of gin a piece, then I think we'd have a pretty good time,
Yeah, you say Jack Kerouac's a real down to earth person, but he didn't treat everybody always that well, as down to earth as he was, and he was always trying to be good. From everything I understood in the
Oh
book.
yeah, he was a total asshole.
Right, but he was at the same time when he was trying to get something accomplished, it seemed like nothing was in his way, including his family.
Oh yeah, totally.
Get on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he needed to be on the road to find inspiration, or just I don't even know that was the way he looked at it. That's not the vibe I got. I got the vibe that he needed to be on the road because that's who he was.
Mhm.
And I still want to be married, and so I'm just gonna make you sit at home. It's a very interesting way to look.
Yeah, yeah, no, he was in, that totally wasn't right. And like Hunter S. Thompson did the same thing, except he didn't have a family he was abandoning. He just was just like, I'm just gonna do a bunch of drugs and go to Mexico. So like,
And who's to say what's right for every person at their place?
yeah, exactly. And look at what ultimately they created. So because of those experiences. So
For sure.
not condoning packing up and leaving your family.
I mean, it might be a psychedelic adventure. Who knows?
Yes.
Well,
If you do, make it an imaginary thing. Just go to the bathroom without the lights on and trip out for a little bit.
see, the problem with that when you have a family is what happens if that one moment where you're tripping out is when everything goes down. It's you
True.
gotta be on point, man.
You have to be zen. You must be super hyper zen.
Yeah, you don't get those moments of hiding. They don't exist. But, so Logan, you brought up a hyperbolic time chamber for the people that aren't big old nerds like us and watch too much Dragon Ball Z. What is that, and why would you have one?
A hyperbolic time chamber is where Goku and the rest of the Dragon Ball team go to train when they don't have enough time. So it's basically just like, hey, we're out of plot time to get strong enough, so what if we just go in this room and now we have enough time to go fight whoever we need to fight. And so having extra time whenever you need it is very useful.
Is there anything recently that made you think about that?
Recently, no. I think back to like college and like my paper is due tomorrow. What if I had an extra 12 hours?
And yeah, for me that was more practicing. It was I need to cram like hours of scales into my hands and brain.
Yeah, that would be me when I was having to read 3 novels a week and a Shakespeare play. Oh, those are rough days.
Oh man, yeah, that's intense. Remembering all that stuff the way they talk.
Yeah.
But all left. So what else is going on with Epic 18 that people should be paying attention to right now in life?
You know,
Throwing it to Tom. Haven't heard Tom in a while.
Guys, I have an understanding you guys will be doing some covers, right? Is that
yeah.
still in the works?
Cover albums on the way.
Well,
Cover.
it's not really an album. We're not going to push it. It's going to be more of a online release thing, I guess. We're going to throw a bunch of stuff up.
So,
Oh, our cover LP EP album.
Covers are coming, good people.
Well, right. My point is, like, for it to be an album, don't you have to produce an album? Don't you need an album? Or
I don't think so.
to throw it out there online as said album, but we're not like trying to sell any of this stuff. We were just releasing songs.
It'll be a collection of songs. What do you call a collection of songs? A gaggle?
I think that's geeks.
It's a murder.
A murder? Yeah, that's what I was saying.
The
It's a
murder of
It's a
songs.
murder of songs.
All right. So yeah, it's a cover
Yeah.
up. You win.
Yeah, and that's coming. I actually think that's going to be fun. I think that's going to be a hit. I think people are. Can we tell people what the songs are going to be?
Yeah, it's fine.
I think people are really going to like King Dice, because people love Cuphead. They're going to hear that and like freaking. I've already shown one friend and he was just like, "Oh my god, that is the best thing ever." So I think people are really going to like that. I think Hey Ya is going to be. I think that one's going to be a lot of fun. I think that one's going to be another kind of like, if we really piece that together, it'll be a lot of fun. So
All
I think
right.
those two are going to be big hits. I don't know. They're a lot of fun. I think all the songs are super fun to do. And hopefully people will look up like Louis Prima, Hopefully people will turn some people on to some Louis Prima.
Okay. Well, I really want to thank you guys for coming here today, and go ahead and check out Epic 18's new EP, Hey Girl, on Spotify or on their website. You can check it out really anywhere you look at music on the web.
All you ever do is spend time thinking about how you feel. Then why is it a surprise that your work seems to no avail? If you think you can, then you won't, then you might as well not even start. At least until you've done some work and given yourself a change of heart. The bottomless pit of failure is easy to go down. If you're thinking of what won't work, then your thoughts will just keep going round and round. If you take the time to realize that all you in life is our gift, you'll see the struggle fall away while you're hanging on the rim. Taking the right we're given to own the thoughts that are in our head and realize the paradise we live in long before we're dead. The constant growth of happiness requires full attention. Always being mindful of the goal as aforementioned. You must be like the water, as someone once said. Grow like a river going with the flow at every bend. Life keeps going, keeping your head up. That's some of the best advice you'll ever get. Don't quit when you get stuck. Just stop and find another way to look at it. You have to know just what you can do and do your best to follow through. It's your attitude. Let's make it right.
I just want to say thank you to Mars and Deborah for showing up today. And very busy people doing a lot of things, and they took some time out of their busy schedule to hang out with us. And first off, let me introduce Mars. His name is Mars Roberge. Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah, Roberge, you got it correct.
Okay. I tried real hard, yeah. I was like looking at it's one of those I deal with a lot of Hispanic last names teaching. I don't, see lots of French sounding names. But either way, he's a writer and director of a few different films, or 3 now that I know of. And so we're going to talk a little bit about those. First off, I want to start with the fact that I saw Scumbag. And his wife, Debra Haden, is a lead role in that. And I loved it. My wife is not into the punk rock movies so much, and so she sat through it with me and just kept making faces. But to me, it was like a kind of to give people something to compare it to. It's an Office Space meets SLC Punks, kind of, if you took all the filters out.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's fair.
It's a true story that I lived.
That
So I can relate to your wife kind of cringing at points, because that was a job that was the worst job I ever had, and it was a telemarketing job, and people either got kind of crazy with it and stayed, or they were sane and looked at it as this is awful, I can't deal with this, and would quit like before lunch would come around. So your wife probably might have quit, but it wouldn't have been bad on her. It would have just meant that she's somewhat sane, so.
right, okay. And so how much of that was exaggerated,
The only thing that was an exaggeration is my character never smoked crack in real life. But
Okay.
he had pretty much every other problem, everything else in there was a true story. And nobody ever danced on cars, but in a drunken haze, I think I dreamed that I danced on a car and sang once. I think it was the Billy Joel, which is even weirder.
All right. Sounds good. But that film's awesome. So if anyone hasn't seen that is something to definitely go check out. Really
Yeah,
enjoy
it has everything you want. It has rapists in it, murderers. We got Michael Alec, Ron Jeremy. It has everything. It has losers. It has sluts. It has hookers. It has it all. And I'm not even talking about the characters in the movie. I'm talking about real life people.
And Deborah, I'm assuming you weren't part of his life when all of that was going on, right? Or were
I was
you?
not.
Okay.
This was like maybe a couple decades before-ish.
Okay. Yeah.
But
And-
the funny thing is, the girl that was in my life at that time will not see the movie. I think it brings back too many crazy memories, because she had to deal with all those people at the time, and she won't see it.
Yeah,
I brought one of the telemarketers to one of the screenings, and he actually started crying, saying he was trying to forget those days. And I'm not. This is like a
He's not-
60-year-old man.
Yeah. No, it was actually sad. I felt really bad. I felt bad for him. It was like it brought up like post-traumatic stress or something. I don't know.
That is exactly what I was just thinking. It was a traumatic thing for them, enough to give them nightmares. But so was it interesting to you having to be a part of his life before? New perspective on him, seeing the old him.
Yeah, actually, but I guess I wasn't really judgmental of that. I feel like when we are trying to figure out what we're going to do with our lives, we make a lot of strange choices and mistakes. And depending on who you're around, they can kind of influence you. So I could actually identify with his story and even with my own character, if that makes sense. Because it's like different people you're with, or they start messing up.
I honestly thought your character is one of the better developments I saw. You as the actress developing with your character and having a different persona throughout, and changing your attitude with what was going on. I enjoyed that.
And joking aside, I do respect all the cast that came out, no matter who they were. They all put in a full effort, and they were exactly like the people that I wanted them to portray. Some of them didn't have to act too far from looking like or being the person, but everybody did a great job. And there were 220 cast members and roles in that movie, so Slacker has nothing on us for characters.
Okay, great. Yeah, no, and that was awesome. Which brings me to, hold on, let me check the names here so I don't get them correctly. But You try to you have a repeating crew that you work with. It says Eric Reagan, right? Kenneth Shaw.
Eric Reagan. He's kind of a jack of all trades. On Scumbag, he he, he was a man. He was a producer. He was a first AD. No, he wasn't. I don't know. He's just done so many different jobs at this point. So like on Scumbag, he was a producer, and then on my latest film, Mr. Sister, he was a first AD, a line producer, and then he shot for a day. Like he was like the second unit DP. So yeah, he's one of these guys that's there from the beginning to the end with me. Sees it from full development. So he just, he's one of the guys that's with me on most of my films. And there's another guy out in New York. My crews are bi-coastal, and now they're kind of like all North American, because I'm originally from Toronto. So I've got I got people from Toronto, from New York, from LA, and we all kind of go wherever the project is. But Kenneth Shaw was my producer on this latest film, Mr. Sister, and he was a co-producer on Scumbag.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so
Just
I like
people
to
you can
try to
trust.
stick with the people I can, and it's a revolving door. Some don't work with me this one, then they'll work with me on the next one, or I try not to forget the people.
That's awesome. Yeah. I was going to ask you, yeah. Well, so you wrote and directed Scumbag, and how much of the editing process do you have a hand in? Do you just kind of wait?
100%. In fact, it's weird. If people go to my IMDb page, which is like the movie database page or the professional page for like actors and film people, my editor shows up first beside my name instead of filmmaker. Probably because I was an editor all during the 90s at a music video company called Black Walk, which was the busiest music video company in Canada during the 90s. And I just kind of, it's always stayed with me. And and I have a day job where I work at a post-production house during the day that kind of edits Apple commercials and stuff like that. So I've always been part of editing. And I look at filmmaking, most of the on-set stuff as a lot of work, but editing has always been fun to me. It's like I do this stuff for fun. I cut friends' videos for fun. It's just, I don't know. It's also kind of goes like I've been a DJ forever, and people that are in bands that are drummers, they kind of got like ADD where they can be in a million places in their head at once. And as a DJ, I'm kind of the same, where I start thinking about what's on that side of the record player and that side of the record player and I apply that to my edits, especially growing up being a music video editor. And I feel like, I do think of myself as a pretty good editor. I'm not an animator, that's more her end. And I have to take it to like colorists that are above me that work on Flame Days and stuff. So as guerrilla as we get, our films are as technical as possible.
What you can afford at the time.
The shoestring budgets we film on. Like we shot the latest film in 8K, which nobody does, and and then we in $100,000 flame editing bays that people pull in favors for me. But we, we're also shooting running from the police on the street. Like I don't really do the street filming like 100% legit, but all my coast and all my technical stuff is as good as it gets. So
that's
in
awesome.
fact, like I wanted to like project this movie in 8K, but no movie theaters in the world can handle that yet, and no like editing suites can handle editing in 8K raw and stuff. So it's crazy. Like the footage for this last film took up about 30, 40 terabytes, just the footage alone. So
man,
I go through a lot of hard drives. But to answer your question, long-winded. I have full control on the editing. I don't even get assistant editors to work with me. I just do it.
I'm curious how you got into the drag scene. How did that become a thing?
So, you see, we're married. I'm a straight guy. But I grew up around like playing in like the glam. There was like a glam rock Britpop scene and kind of from a punk background through my sister, an older sister in Toronto. And being a DJ and spinning like rave parties and goth parties and being used to eyeliner or whatever, somehow I ended up in New York in a drunken blackout, and needed a job. Got hired at this clothing store where they assumed I was a gay hustler because I had at the time more makeup than the drag queens had with the glitter thing and all that. We were competing with a band from Toronto at the time called Robin Black and the Intergalactic Rock Stars, and people might know him as a famous UFC commentator now. He doesn't look like the Kiss role he had back then, but there was like this scene going on in Toronto. It was like glam punk and stuff in the late '90s. So when I ended up at the store, they thought I was a gay hustler and thought I'd fit in like a gay prostitute because of how I dressed and looked. And I ended up being like the top sales guy they've ever had because of my telemarketing background. And I was the only like person that didn't mind talking to women because, then they want to look good to go on the dates or whatever. So I had like good advice, wear this and wear. I think I was responsible for low cut jeans on women. And my customers weren't like regular people. So I'm like this goth kid. My customers are like Britney Spears and Paris Hilton. They're going to come to you for advice on what to wear. Of course, that page 666 shirt that that Britney Spears wore, that was because of me. And I was daydreaming about the goth club I worked at the time when I sold it to her. So because of that, I worked at the store and I was really down on my luck and suicidal in life and gone down the rabbit hole. And that this group of transsexuals and drag queens and stuff just kind of accepted me as who I was. And at the time I was trying to make it as an antichrist of dance music called DJ Mars. And I spun all the fetish parties, S&M parties and stuff in New York for, about 10 years. And I just saw how willing everybody was to accept me as long as I accepted them. And then we became kind of like this family where we compete at balls. Walking balls. What does that mean for a straight guy? It means I put on the craziest outfit I could find, go to Harlem at 4 or 5 in the morning and walk with all these black transsexuals, walking up, pretending to have a fashion show. And then people leave with a trophy. This is long before the TV show Pose and all this other stuff. So I've always had friends, like so many friends from that world. And it was a good world to be in because it was the only world where you don't have to look at your best friend as a guy that's going to try to hit on your girlfriend or wife or whatever. It's like they'll tell them off.
Yeah.
And they knew I wanted nothing from them, so it was like we had a good relationship. So I was the token straight guy for the Patricia Field's House of Field, which is an actual like house in New York. The other house that we compete would be like, say, House of Extravaganza, and people would know them as the people that vogued for Madonna in the Madonna Vogue song. So I know that your show's more punk. I'm having like references of Billy Joel and Britney Spears and stuff. Trust me, like you saw Scumbag. Who do I have in that? I had like members from the Cramps and the Circle Jerks and Black Flag and Danzig and so on. So like my foot's in kind of every world.
There's nothing wrong with
enjoying. That's kind of how I
it.
have to be a filmmaker. I want to be able to take what's there and present it in such a way that your wife can make a judgment on it. You can make a judgment on it. Everybody can make a judgment on it because I'm keeping it as real as it can. And I'm not trying to force any kind of view. I want to step back and go, well, what did you think of it? What did you hate it? Okay. Well, why did you hate it? Okay. Because I don't know how I felt about it. I just put what's real. And sometimes my dreams are as real as what I see. So it's like, that's going to be in a film. I don't know if it's good or bad or funny or what, but I know it's something that says I got to put this in the movie. And let's talk about like therapy afterwards.
Right. Get it out at least. All right. So then what's going on with Mr. Sister? I haven't gotten to see a preview or anything. What's it about?
If you go to MrSisterNYC.com, you can see our trailer.
Okay.
And all of our social media pages are Mr. Sister NYC. We haven't had a world premiere yet, but we actually just got signed to Arsenal Pictures, which is it's pretty cool. That they put out Maggie with Arnold Schwarzenegger and they produce like Kidnapped with Halle Berry and Sylvester Stallone's Get Carter. They do a lot of really big things, and they liked our underground indie film so much that they wanted to take it on for next year. So
awesome.
We're going to see what they do with it, which means they're going
to kind of
push it and pimp our movie out as best as they can to get it out to a bigger audience. As right now we're waiting on film festivals. There's a chance we might play have a world premiere in November, but most likely it's looking like all of our premieres, especially our North American premieres, are going to happen at some of the bigger film festivals starting early next year. But to answer your question, so Mr. Sister is about a suicidal man from Milwaukee who is given a second chance at life in New York City as a straight drag queen nun MC, where he has to quickly learn the skills from the LGBTQ community to survive and face his inner demons, which include stage fright, his past that he's trying to run away from, and get enough courage to pursue his dreams and his relationship with a girl named Marie, who's a single tap dancing mom. So it's kind of it's a dark comedy, like a comedy drama. And if you were to take a look at my films, I drew a line directly between The Little House That Could and Scumbag. So it's like some of the people, like The Little House That Could was a documentary. Some of the people in the documentary are acting in Mr. Sister.
Awesome.
And some of the dialogue is very much like the anti-PC punk take it or leave it dialogue from Scumbag. So it's kind of like a drag queen with a drag movie with a punk attitude, and it's not a gay movie. It's kind of for anybody that's ever been down on their luck and just kind of wanted to go against society and do their own thing, you know, and say, I don't want to follow rules. I want to be an individual and accept me, take it or leave it, enjoy or die. And that's the attitude of Mr. Sister. This guy basically ends up in New York in a nun drag outfit by sheer coincidence, needs a job, gets heckled at a drag bar, and the rest is history. This guy's been shit on his whole life, and he's the master of insults. Nobody can beat him. Doesn't matter if he's gay, straight, or whatever. He's like, he has a split personality when he gets on a microphone. And his real dream is he wants to be a glam rock singer. So,
all right.
Yeah, this film I took from little things in life and just kind of, I felt like it was a film that needed to be made because it's never been talked about. And it's not about, it's not about like a cross dresser. It's not about like, I'm not out there saying, hey, this is a movie for guys that like to dress in women's clothes. No, it's a movie for people that are into punk rock that just like to say F you to the society's rules and just be yourself. You know, this guy ended up in the drag world because nobody else would take him, and they don't really understand him, but they're helping him understand himself.
All right. And you said it was all or mostly guerrilla filming?
Not necessarily. Like I go out and I pick out all my locations. I do all the location scouting and stuff too, with my producer Kenneth Shaw. But like when we're shooting outside, yeah, for the most part, 99% of the time, I film like a graffiti artist would. People say, who's your main film influence? And it's not a filmmaker, it's not a film director, it's Is the Wiz, the original New York City graffiti artist, the first person to put bombs on subway trains, who ended up dying because of inhaling his paint fumes. He's like the god of spray paint, of graffiti artists, and that's the guy that loved his art so much he had to do it. Didn't matter if he went to jail, but he had to do it, and the art ended up killing him. I hope the art doesn't end up killing me, but you know, that's how I look at things now. I go in and I look around going, okay, PAs look out for the police, and we're doing this no matter what. Let's go. And if anybody comes, I learned this trick where you just put your head down and you run really fast. And if anybody takes your picture, it doesn't show. But so that's kind of how I do it. But we've only had like maybe one bad experience like that, and you know, I finagled my way around it. You know, I just
okay.
You know,
so it tends to work out.
Police officer in East LA. We're filming a dance recital for my school, and we'll be done in a minute. And then we went and filmed a glue huffing scene in the cemetery about 10 minutes later. So if they would have come back and saw that, that would have kind of blown my cover. But you know, I just, you know, I'm not out to break laws, but I'm also not rich, but I'm going to make a movie by any means necessary. which is something I learned from the Detroit techno affiliation, Underground Resistance, that just said, if you want to make music, you get drum machines, you get whatever you can, doesn't matter how good it is, and just make it with what you can. And that's kind of how I do our films.
Yeah.
I'm going to take this off, just like I know it's Halloween.
Go for it. It's fine.
Actually, the Twilight Zone kind of thing. I should have put a pig nose. But yeah, so that's how that came about. And all of my films, because of my connection with DJing and music, and I used to play in bands. One was called The Millionaires. One was called Rise NYC, Tulips Rutina. I always have to have, I relate to musicians more than I relate to snobby actors. And I don't know, maybe it's called keeping it real, or maybe it's because I'm crazy. I don't know. But I'll work with actors, musicians, and I'll say, like, basically be yourself. I saw you on stage, you're a certain person. I want you to be who I think you are, you know? And so all my films have a lot of musicians in it. Like the newest film has Jim Sclavunos in his debut role. He's from Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. He plays percussion, and he's from Lydia Lunch and Sonic Youth and the Cramps. And you know, my main singer's from an up and coming band called Uni, you know, out of New York. And you know, Scumbag. There's probably like 30 famous musicians in it.
Yeah, I noticed a few.
I'll work with them to act, but all I really do is try to get them to not act and be themselves, because that's I think works the best. Or I'll get somebody like Keith Morris to play a nerd, very far removed, something that's fun, very far removed from who they are. So
okay,
you know, that's kind of like my thing.
Something I forgot about. I'm sorry, I glanced over it. Debra has a new dance music project.
I've heard it, and I really enjoy some of the stuff.
Yeah, Tom brought it up, and I haven't gotten a chance.
Yeah, it's Skunk and the Roses. It's kind of it's. I don't want to genreify myself too hard, but it does kind of have an electro swing vibe, also house, and it's just vintage, like kind of vaudeville vibe. Recently, I started. I've actually started adding in ventriloquism as well. So it's kind of like a variety type show. The Skunk is for Skunk and the Roses is Madame Q is her name. Okay. And so because my music is almost so it's like so cartoon, like kind of cartoon driven. Vocally, and the new stuff is really, really catchy. I'm so excited. There is a song in the movie that he wanted. He was like, "That we're putting that in the movie. We're putting that in the movie." And I'm so I can't wait. But it's like we have to keep waiting because of all of the, you know, I don't want to ruin it before the movie comes out, right? So, well, see, usually I give her an introduction, but I'm just gonna pop her in on you.
Uh-oh.
Hi guys, how are you? Nice to meet you.
That's nice to meet you as well. What's your name again?
You guys are great.
Madam QQ?
Yeah, Madam QQ lives with us, but she doesn't. She's not in any of my films. Yeah.
Not yet.
Okay.
She keeps asking me.
I am a star, though. You know.
I can see it. I can see it happening.
I actually, how this all came about, I have a new show on an app called Bigo Live, and it's based in Thailand, and a lot of people in the States don't know about it yet. And I would say the US side of it is still like kind of sketchy. I don't know how else to say it. And so I try to refer people over there, but then they get over there and they're looking at it and they're like, oh my gosh, who are all these like these people? Like some of the people on there are a mess. But as you can tell from the backdrop and her and how I look, I'm actually taking it very seriously. So I've created my own variety show, and I'm going to debut all of my music and music videos on there once everything is ready to roll. Okay. So I'm excited. Okay. It's fun. It's like every skill I have, from costuming to making the music to dancing to ventriloquism to makeup to anything you can think of, I get to do all of it. So
You have a social media
Yeah.
for Skunk and the Roses.
yeah, I do have
She has some videos. and stuff.
skunkandtheroses.com and Instagram at skunkandtheroses.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
great.
fun. I'm having a blast. So
We'll
You have
to get
another-
you back
I
on
do.
the
I do.
release a variety show.
There's another person that's here with us special today for Halloween. It is
Okay.
Halloween today, right? 31st? Yeah, I think so.
That is
Every day's
when,
Halloween.
yes.
Okay, sorry. Usually I have a little more leeway. I didn't plan on doing this, so.
He's my favorite.
Hey guys,
Ooh.
how's it going? You look delicious. Yummy.
I like the voice.
I like musicians.
What's
Hey,
your
wait.
name?
I thought you said you were vegan. Why are you? Was she threatening you?
It felt more like love.
Okay, I'm like, sometimes she says these weird jokes, and I mean, supposedly she's vegan. We found her sitting outside, and she's basically just a baby. So, but she keeps saying these weird things, and I'm like, I don't know if maybe we should be worried. I don't know. Well, we'll see. We'll see how it plays out over the next few months.
Again, she's not in any of my films. She's just Elizabeth's foster
Okay.
child.
Nice
She's-
to meet you
So
guys.
she's a fresh one. Still trying her on.
I'm used to it at this point. You know?
You guys thought that his interview was like reaching strange limits. You have no idea. Okay.
No,
just kind of ignore it,
it's
you know?
beautiful.
Welcome to our world.
It's good to see you guys help each other thrive. That's the coolest part to me.
You guys are just
helping each other grow with your arts and what your passions are.
Sure.
and
That's
it seems
exactly
like there's a lot of
you
support
get it.
there.
That's exactly what's happening. It just like grows like more and more and
Yeah.
more. And he's so, because of how he's been around so many different types of people, like anything I do is not shocking at all. And he just encourages it.
I look at ways, how
So-
do I include that in another film
Yeah.
somehow, you know?
And when you're opening
So it's
creative,
amazing. Yeah.
right? And when you're opening creative, more avenues keep showing themselves to you to pour yourself into and help yourself with another task you're doing. And it's like, I started playing piano as a kid, and it's like, well, if I played everything, then I could do my own band. And if I recorded, then this is easier. And you just start adding up, and all of a sudden you gain more skills to support everything you're doing, and you get to do your own variety show at that point.
Yeah, definitely. That's exactly what I was like. If you'd asked, I would have never thought this would have happened, but COVID actually, like, it was like, okay, well, I have to do all of this stuff. So how am I going to do that? It's been like, I don't want to say a blessing because there's so many horrible things that have happened, but
I 100% know the feeling.
on one hand, it's like, it's like, what are you made of? What are you going to do at this time? How are you going to come through any suffering or whatever's going on? What are you doing with it? And so for me, that's been a huge push toward just that, being that little kid that I grew up on a farm and had to use my imagination every day because it was so boring. And and kind of like reverting back there because you're stuck inside, and what else are you going to do? Right. So it's like that coping mechanism, like it's come in so handy for me right now in like so many ways.
Yeah, I've said the same thing. I have a lot of people coming to me and talking about how crazy they're going. And because I have 4 kids, so people, my kids are driving me crazy. How are you doing with the school and stuff? And my wife's a trooper, by the way. But I've never been more productive than I am right now. I'm still working. I'm a teacher at a high school, and I'm getting that done. We're doing it all online right now. But because I'm online and I can kind of give the students their time and walk away, I'm at home doing all my own personal projects, like making hooch and building my sister cabinets and doing stuff for the house, helping the kids out with stuff, taking them jogging and messing with my dogs and recording the band and being able to start a project like this, which is not my first venture or not my first thought for myself to actually be asking people into their lives and trying to kind of be a personality. I like playing music. I'm a saxophone player, man. Give me a park bench and leave me alone. I'm one of those like tortured souls. I don't need things. But it's fun to have this time to get out of your shell and find out what you're capable of versus just kind of crawl into a hole and cry about it.
Yeah, it's good to have some kind of reference, some record, like with the Little House That Could, at least half the cast in that. I say cast, it was real people. They all passed, and there's a bunch of people that have been passing from Scumbag, including one of my best friends the other day who plays the biker bar club owner, Keith Kozar. Wow, that just kind of came out of nowhere, and it's like sad. But if anything, I'm like, well, I've got footage of this person in their heyday, helping me out, being cool on film, and I get to see that, and it's nice to see that, pets that have passed, Cat in Scumbag too, so, and with Little House That Could, I was able to give like footage of one of the people, Cody Ravioli, who was one of the main people in it, to people that were old friends that miss her, that haven't seen her because she passed, and I was like, well, gotta see this movie, here it is, and that's something new. That's awesome. Like, I feel like I just got to keep making as many as I can, because you never know when it's too late, and it's just nice to have some kind of reference of, hey, these are people having fun, and seeing art getting made. Yeah.
It's really wonderful.
It's a really wonderful thing for people. We asked you an extremely random question, and your answer was more random than we had expected. I'm curious how. You mentioned they seem like nice people, and I definitely get that feeling. But how Cheech Marin and Barry Manilow and Dolly Parton kind of all lumped together in your head? And I listen to eclectic.
Yeah, you know what? I've been waiting for this because somebody was like, "Who do you want to meet? Who do you want to have for dinner? If you could meet anybody," and they're expecting me to say something like Henry Rollins or like Jello Biafra, and it was like, no, it's obvious to me.
Definitely threw us
Barry
off.
Manilow. So then I told her, I'm like, I got really infatuated with Barry Manilow. I'm like, we gotta go see Barry Manilow, and she was like, really? So we went to the show at Hollywood Bowl. I was like, something about it made me happy. It made Michael Jackson happy. It was his favorite guy back in the day, and I was like, I don't know what it is. It's like, it's definitely not cool on the cool level, but. I think the guy, I want to be around people that make me smile or that seem nice or are happy. Somebody that if I was at a party, I'd probably go gravitate to their kitchen and hang out with them next to a fridge and make a sandwich or something. Like that really happened to me with Steve Buscemi, by the way. I was at some party in New York, didn't know where I was, and he was like looking in a fridge making a sandwich. I said, wow, you're like Steve Buscemi. He's like, yeah, you want a sandwich? I said, yeah. And we started talking, and it was like, and then he left, and nobody even knew that happened. Like, Fisher Field Party when I was filming that was around the time when I was filming The Little House That Could. But like, I like it when people are nice, because there's so many assholes in the world. And Dolly Parton too. I'd like to meet her. Cheech Marin. I grew up before I knew what weed was, like infatuated with maybe because there wasn't a lot of Spanish people in Canada or something. I was like. Except Sesame Street and Cheech and Chong. And I was like, I don't know. I like this guy. Right. I just always wanted to meet him. I thought it would be cool. I'd like to meet these people while they're still alive.
For sure. No, I could definitely get behind all of them seeming like completely nice people and sandwich worthy. But, and then the last random question we had for you is cosmic-like powers against toga things. And so after reading all of this information you gave us, and a lot of it, it's lousy with punk rock, it's rife with drag, and then your cosmic powers seem to fight clothing.
Yeah, cosmic power, was the special force of the Silver Surfer. Like when I was a little kid, I collected comics. Like I was like in the comics, and to the point I won't watch a lot of these Marvel movies today and stuff because it goes against my religion of the comic of what it was, how much it meant to me.
Yeah.
And I also played Dungeons and Dragons, and I gravitated towards. They had Marvel's Dungeons and Dragons at the time. It would tell everybody's powers, and like one of the most powerful person was like the Silver Surfer and Galactus, because they had like the power cosmic, which was basically like taking all the energy of the world, like a nuclear energy, and blasting somebody. They did no justice with that Silver Surfer movie. So I wanted that. If I could have any power, I want that power cosmic. And I was tired when I answered your question, but what was the part about the clothing? Oh, yeah, so
because
the
you
power
said you would
cosmic,
fight.
It was the only power that made people as strong as like Zeus or like the most powerful gods at the time, Quetzalcoatl and stuff in the Dungeons and Dragon world of myths. So and it was even more powerful than demons, like the most powerful demons. Like oh man, it's been a while since I've talked demon. You know, man, I can't even think right now. But anyways, and I don't want to summon them right now on Halloween. So because you know.
Understandably.
Could be bad. We're waiting on a world premiere here. I try to get
It
it
is
out
a
of the country,
blue
but,
moon on Halloween.
So I think that people would want to fight me if they were good or bad and they were gods, because they'd be jealous that like I don't have to wear the same crappy clothes as them. Like these gods, they all wore the same toga, which was kind of outdated way back in the early Greek and Roman Empire. But I could dress as cool as like well. Look at Ms. Marvel and stuff. She had the power cosmic, or Phoenix, you know, or like Silver Surfer. He was silver, but he might have just been a naked dude, you know. Like I want a cool costume, and I don't want to have to be a god to be that powerful. So they would want to fight me because they'd be jealous that they have to dress like an idiot, and I get to dress in a cool costume. So that would be my big thing, you know.
All right.
As it is in life. If you ever live in Brooklyn, you don't get beat up if you wear that white T-shirt that they all wear, and then if you come out to LA, that white T-shirt becomes a white undershirt, like it doesn't have sleeves. New York has the half sleeve thing, but if you wear like shiny clothes, yeah, you know, Bed-Stuy, middle of the night, eyeliner, fancy hat, somebody's gonna jump you, you know.
Understandably. So that's really all we got. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with us and remembering us even from our little get together. What was it, like 3 years ago now?
How could we forget? And we actually hosted the LA Punk Film Festival for 2 years now. Since then, I kept hoping I'd see you guys back at Sandy West LA Punk Film Festival, but that was basically from hanging out with you guys that day.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm glad you guys gained some stuff from that. That's great. And so we just got to look forward to Mr. Sister at this point. We're waiting on to find out what you guys get some information, and then everyone gets the world premiere, right?
Yeah. The world premiere is either going to happen at the end of November in some country that they're not allowing anybody in, or Americans can't get in right now, which I don't think it's going to be there. But more than likely, our world premieres are going to happen, hopefully in North America, towards the end of January.
Okay, sweet. So I guess next we're going to go ahead and put on the trailer for Mr. Sister. I hope you guys enjoy it, as it's my first time getting to see it too.
I'm in New York. Probably not for long.
Bitch, I can't! To make it in New York City, first you gotta be a man to be a woman!
Somebody wanna tell me what the hell is that? Why is there a Thai drag queen dressed like a nun on my runway?
Baby, you straight?
Yeah. I don't want anybody recognizing me.
This has been one weird night.
Who are you supposed to be? Mr. Sister?
That's Mr. Sister.
What we got over here at the bar? Oh, fresh meat. Hi, sweetie.
You're like a straight drag queen. Is there like a name? Is this like a genre or something?
Well, my friend Jasmine just calls me weird.
Did anybody ever tell you your ass looks like 200 pounds of chewed up bubble gum?
I think it's pretty punk rock.
I own this place. I saw what you did up there.
I don't actually work here. I was at a homeless hole where you should live.
Homeless hole, come here.
Picture. That's an impressive bitch.
OMG, you were amazing. I want you to come back and do it again.
You want me to come back here and get drunk and high and insult people?
$200 cash a night, 300 on the weekends. Sound all right?
I love New York.
The customer is always wrong. You're in charge. And little patty pussies
and kinky straights from New Jersey are at the bottom of the food chain.
We swing. I have a little money, not that much, but I'm hot for a nun with a, schlong. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So, I mean, I'll do anything in bed. She's like a porn star. In fact, she is a porn star. So what do you say we take a path train to my heart?
I wish I had your courage. You're like steel out there.
Yeah, my dad always said I'd make a really great mean nun one day.
Shoot, I gotta get going, but it was really nice meeting you.
Yeah, it was nice to meet you too, Marie. I'll be keeping an eye on you, Marie.
I'm just trying to earn a living like everybody else, Get my mother out of jail, get my father that sex change operation he's always wanted, and get my kid brother Mikey that great crystal glass crap.
Sometimes just plain no is best, but sometimes such a direct no would offend people.